fled on the 15th of July 1979, and the Sandinistas took power just 4 days later. They were helped by the fact that American President Jimmy Carter had finally cut off support for Somoza after his soldiers were filmed casually killing an American TV correspondent. But America's involvement was far from over. Ronald Reagan was elected in 1981, and he authorized millions of dollars to be sent to Somoza's old soldiers, who became known as the Contras. Daniel arrived in Nicaragua during the Contra War. He only planned to stay for 2 weeks, but he never left.
Anyway, this is me cleaning my AK-47. Outside the barracks.
But the medals don't mean so much to you?
No, I can't remember what they are. And, well, this picture toured the world. He got shot down with a SAM-7.
Because this was proof?
Yeah,
that
this
the
was
Americans
proof.
were supplying the Contras?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Some of the planes that were used to supply the Contras were owned by known drug traffickers.
They took off from Ilopango Air Base in El Salvador. Then they kicked the ammunition out of the plane, landed in a farm of John Hall's in Costa Rica, loaded the plane with coke, flew back to Ilopango, unloaded the drugs, and that went to the States.
Because the CIA was saying, let these guys through, they're sending supplies to the Contra, so they said, on the way back, you might as well put coke in there.
That's right. I mean, there's no...
The plane.
Right, no sense in traveling empty.
Yeah.
Captain of the plane was called Tom Sawyer, funny enough. He parachuted out, was caught, then he was put in jail. I talked to him several times.
How was he treated in prison?
Very well. He had TV and everything. And then months later, years later, he was arrested in Wisconsin for flashing in a parking lot.
But why do you think the Americans cared so much about stopping what you were trying to do here?
Well, because they saw it as a beachhead of, you know, communism, and it was an example of Cold War, another Cuba in their backyard.
But they said that if Nicaragua fell, then maybe Mexico could fall, and maybe after that Texas, and then...
Yeah, no, they said that we were closer to Brownsville, Texas, than Brownsville was to Washington. You know, Americans are very gullible.
Okay, the decision makers, you don't think that was really what they were worried about?
No, I don't think so. It's also a question of pride, and, you know, they don't want another socialist country in their backyard.
Gang problem pale in comparison. By the time it had finished, over 75,000 people were dead. Oh, this is a helicopter pad. Eddie was conscripted into the army in the early 80s, before his family helped him escape to America. So the government forces are actually on foot, we're coming up this mountain.
Exactly. So they were coming up, and that's what the trench is right there.
People were killed here?
They were killed here, yeah. I was inside the Air Force, but we were not part of the Air Force. We were from the 3rd Battery.
But what did the training involve?
Killing people.
Because they said that to toughen you up, they'd make you witness torture, execution.
All that.
You did that?
A little bit of everything, man. But sometimes I don't like to talk about that too much, man, because, you know, I really don't like to remind myself what I went through, you know.
But others want to tell the world what they went through. In the village of El Mazote, there is a shrine for the 767 civilians who were massacred by the US-trained Atlacat battalion. Rufina Amaya was one of only 2 survivors. Were they warned that the army were going to be conducting an operation very close by?
If they knew that?
Yeah.
¿Y ustedes sabían que el gobierno iba a entrar aquí con todo el ejército?
Hubiéramos sabido, lo hubiéramos ido.
They say if they could have knew that something like that was going to happen, they could have left.
The army suspected the villagers of supporting the guerrillas. So the army's policy here was called taking the water away from the fish. They thought if you massacred as cruelly as possible anyone even suspected of supporting the guerrillas, and showed them that the guerrillas can't protect them if they are supporting them, that eventually no one would dare support the guerrillas, and they cannot exist without support, well, the fish cannot exist without the water. The commander who led this attack admitted later on that was his policy, and admitted that it didn't work, and it actually led to an increase, a massive increase, in support for the guerrillas.
Son los balazos que tiraba el avión.
Oh, she's saying they're machine gun bullets from a fighter plane.
Oh.
Se encuentran buscándolo así. Aquí están.
So huesos is bones, human bone. So even little girls know what happened here and know where to find little bits of bones. Rufina lost 21 family members, including her husband and her 4 daughters, the youngest of whom was just 8 months old. Could you hear your own children?
Cuando usted oía que estaban llorando todos los
Sí,
niños.
que lloraban los niños cuando los estaban matando, era que me la tristeza, pero yo me quería salir de aquí porque no quería escuchar los gritos de mis hijos, porque yo escuchaba los gritos cuando decía, mamita, Rufina, los están matando con cuchillo, con balas y a la huilla, las niñas. Esa era la tribulación que ellos presentaban.
She said that she heard when her kids were crying and they were screaming her name, saying, Mom, Mom.
Y no podía llorar porque me iban a escuchar.
Okay, she said, Mom, 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 you know, they're killing us, you know, they have knives. And they have weapons, you know, and then she said that she was crying there, you know, like, it was something going on in her heart, you know, that it was.
Esa era la tristeza mía, yo me quería salir para no escuchar.
She said that she wanted to get out to the place where she was hiding because, you know, she heard her children were getting killed, man.
The Reagan administration denied a massacre had taken place here. They didn't want anything to get in the way of them giving aid to the Salvadoran government, because they thought if that happened, the communist guerrillas would win. And in their minds, there was nothing worse than another communist victory in Central America.